No one prepares you for what happens when you hate your job. You wake up with a knot in your stomach. You drag yourself through the day. You come home exhausted, and somehow you're expected to be smart with money on top of that. It's almost absurd when you think about it. Everyone tells you, save more, invest early, be grateful you even have a job. But no one explains how you're supposed to make calm financial decisions when your entire day feels like something you're trying to escape from. And here's the first truth the psychology of money reveals, in a way that hits hard. Your decisions with money were never just about numbers. They're about emotion, fear, frustration, exhaustion, and the quiet desperation of feeling stuck somewhere you don't want to be. When you hate your job, money stops being just money. It becomes a painkiller, a distraction, a way to say, at least I have this, even if this is slowly pulling you away from the future you actually want. Most people don't make bad money decisions because they're irresponsible. They make them because they're tired, burned out, trying to buy small pockets of relief inside a life that doesn't feel like theirs. And that's exactly where your relationship with money starts to split into two paths. One path uses money to escape your job. The other path uses money to escape depending on your job. Those look similar on the surface, but they lead to completely different futures. And that's what we're going to explore together in this video. When you hate your job, you start living for after work. After work is when you order food you can't really afford. After work is when you scroll, shop, and say, I deserve this again and again. After work is when you try to forget how your day actually felt. On paper, nothing looks wrong. You're paying the bills, you're working hard, you're rewarding yourself. But psychologically, something deeper is happening. You're teaching your brain that money exists to soften the pain of staying stuck, instead of building the freedom to leave. And that distinction changes everything. Because if you're not careful, your paycheck becomes a chain. Every raise turns into a lifestyle upgrade. Every bonus turns into a bigger bill. Every I earned this becomes a new fixed cost you can't back away from. From the outside, it looks like progress, better apartment, nicer car, more comfort on weekends. But on the inside, your freedom is shrinking. This is one of the core lessons from the psychology of money. Real wealth is what you don't see. People see your car. People see your vacations. People see the things you post online. What they don't see is the money you didn't spend, the options you quietly built, the future you're secretly funding while everyone else is trying to look okay. When you hate your job, this becomes even more important, because every unnecessary expense you commit to is another month you'll have to stay somewhere that drains you. You're not just buying things, you're buying more time in a life you can't stand. Before we go deeper, pause for a second and tell me in the comments, what's the number one thing you hate about your job? And if you could change just one thing in your work life, what would it be? Writing it down makes something clearer. You don't just have a money problem, you have a freedom problem. Your beliefs about work and money didn't start with this job. They started long before. From what you heard growing up, work is suffering, that's life. Having a stable job is all that matters. Just be grateful and don't complain. Maybe you watched people stay in jobs they hated because that's what responsible adults do. Maybe you saw your parents so afraid of losing income that they taught you, without saying it directly, that stability is everything, even if it costs your mental health. Those messages don't disappear. They become your default settings. So now when you think about leaving, changing careers, or even just working less, you don't feel calm. You feel guilty. You feel selfish. You feel like you're throwing away security.
And this is where the psychology of money brings a hard but liberating idea. No one is crazy. Your financial behavior makes sense when you understand the story you grew up in. You're not lazy for wanting out. You're not ungrateful for wanting more than just a paycheck. You're not irresponsible for dreaming of a life with more freedom. You're just reacting to a reality that doesn't fit you anymore. The goal isn't to judge your past. The goal is to take control of your future. Because there's a difference between staying in a job you disliked out of conscious strategy and staying there because you feel emotionally paralyzed. The psychology of money doesn't tell you to quit recklessly. It teaches you to buy something far more powerful than status, the ability to choose. And that ability starts with one concept most people ignore: your personal definition of enough. When you hate your job, enough becomes blurry. You're constantly telling yourself, if I just made a little more, I'd be fine. But the moment you make more, your lifestyle rises to match it. A slightly better apartment, a slightly more expensive car, a slightly more comfortable way to escape reality on weekends. It all feels deserved, and it is. But every time your lifestyle grows faster than your freedom, you're not moving forward, you're tightening the trap. The book puts it simply: if you can't define what enough means to you, the world will define it for you. And the world will always say more. More spending, more proof you're doing well, more visible success, even if your mental health is collapsing behind it. When you hate your job, this becomes even more important, because every unnecessary expense you commit to is another month you'll have to stay somewhere that drains you. You're not just buying things, you're buying more time in a life you can't stand. Enough might mean having a small emergency fund, having no high-interest debt, having low fixed costs, having a few months of expenses saved.
Not glamorous, not something you can flex, but these things quietly change the way you wake up on Monday morning. Because suddenly, you're not trapped, you're choosing. You still might not love your job, but you don't feel as desperate. And that emotional shift changes the way you behave with money. You stop spending to numb the pain and start spending to build an exit. That's a completely different life path. Here's one of the most dangerous loops people fall into when they hate their job. They say, I'm miserable every day. I deserve to compensate myself. So they start buying relief. Relief in the form of food delivery, relief in the form of gadgets, relief in the form of trips they can't afford just to forget about work for a week. This kind of spending doesn't look reckless. It looks reasonable when you're exhausted. You think, I work hard. I'm suffering anyway. Why shouldn't I enjoy something? And the psychology of money would agree with one thing here. Your reaction makes emotional sense. But there's a catch. Every time you use money to anesthetize your life, you're reinforcing the exact situation that makes you miserable. You're using your paycheck to keep the pain just low enough that you never have to change the system causing it. It's like taking just enough painkiller to keep walking on a broken leg. It works until it doesn't. The book reminds you of a brutally honest truth. Money can buy you comfort today or options tomorrow, but rarely both at the same time. If you hate your job, this is the question that matters. Are you using your paycheck to temporarily feel better about staying, or to permanently increase your ability to leave? That's the pivot. And if you want help turning that pivot into daily practice, I left a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It guides you day by day through small, realistic actions to lower your financial anxiety, create breathing room around your paycheck, and start building the kind of habits that buy you flexibility in a future where your job isn't a prison. Not theory, not magic formulas, just calm structure in the middle of a chaotic work life. There's another trap the psychology of money warns you about, one that gets even stronger when you hate your job. Confusing visible success with real independence. If your work feels empty, the temptation to prove you're doing well becomes massive. You want something to show for all the stress, something people can see. So you start collecting symbols, new phone, new car, new outfits. None of that is wrong. But if those symbols are built on a fragile foundation, they can make you more stuck than ever. Because here's the paradox. The more your lifestyle screams, "I'm doing great," the harder it becomes to say, "I want to change." You're not just walking away from a job anymore. You're walking away from an identity. That's why the book repeats this idea. Real wealth is quiet. Status is loud. Real wealth is being able to say no at work and know you'll be okay. Real wealth is having savings that let you pause, pivot, study, or change paths without your entire life collapsing. Real wealth is knowing your self-respect doesn't live in what you buy. When you hate your job, you don't just want more money. You want more dignity. And dignity doesn't come from one big, dramatic decision. It comes from small, consistent behaviors that slowly shift the balance of power from your job back to you. One of the most powerful ideas in The Psychology of Money is that time multiplies everything you do. When you're exhausted from work, you think in 24-hour cycles. Just get through today. Just survive this week. But your financial behavior today isn't just affecting this week. It's affecting the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life. If you use money to escape every day, time multiplies that too. Into debt, into constant anxiety, into a feeling that you're always running and never arriving. If you use money to buy small pockets of freedom, time multiplies that as well. Into savings, into options, into the ability to say, "I'm done," when a job crosses your boundaries. You don't need a huge salary for this. You need a system that respects your future as much as your present pain. That might mean saving a small fixed amount every month, refusing to increase your lifestyle every time your income rises, paying down bad debt slowly but consistently, investing tiny amounts automatically even if they feel pointless. From the outside, it looks boring. From the inside, it feels like something you haven't felt in a long time. Control. The book repeats a central idea. Financial behavior matters more than financial knowledge. You don't need to become an expert in the stock market. You don't need the perfect side hustle,
or the perfect business plan, or the perfect timing to leave your job. You need behavior that works, even when you're tired, stressed, and emotionally drained from work. That's why building wealth while you hate your job is less about big moves and more about emotional boundaries. Saying no to the coworker pressure to spend just to fit in. The impulse to treat every bad day with an expensive reward. The belief that your value is tied to how much you can show off. And saying yes to boring, consistent habits. A simpler lifestyle with more breathing room. Savings that exist not to impress, but to protect you. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful.
Because every time you choose a habit that protects your future, you're telling yourself, I respect my time more than I fear change. And that self-respect is what slowly turns a job you hate from a prison into a bridge. Changing your relationship with money when you hate your job doesn't start with quitting. It starts with seeing clearly. Seeing that so many of your little treats aren't rewards. They're survival mechanisms. Seeing that your fear of leaving isn't just about money. It's about the stories you grew up hearing about stability and success. Seeing that your exhaustion doesn't make you weak. It makes you human and vulnerable to financial choices that feel comforting now but hurt you later. And then, gently, choosing differently. Asking yourself before you spend, is this helping me cope with my job or helping me depend less on it? Is this purchase giving me relief or taking away a little bit of my future freedom? You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to start noticing. Awareness is the first form of wealth. From there, the next step is turning this awareness into structure. If you want help with that, you'll find a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It was designed for people exactly like you, people who are tired of feeling behind, tired of living paycheck to paycheck emotionally, and ready to build habits that move them slowly but surely toward a life where money is a tool, not a trap. It gives you practical, day-by-day actions to organize your finances, lower your anxiety, and start building the kind of safety that gives you real options at work and outside of it. If this video made you reflect even for a few minutes, take it as a sign. You're not meant to spend your entire life trapped in a job that crushes you. You may not be able to leave tomorrow. You may need time. You may need a plan. But today, right now, you can start doing something crucial. Using your money not just to survive the week, but to quietly prepare your escape. If you want more content on money psychology, financial behavior, and building wealth that actually feels like freedom, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find videos that respect your reality, speak to your emotions, and help you build a future where your job isn't the only way you feel safe.